My peoples. My peoples. Hold on, this thing is uncomfortable right here. Let me get myself fixed up. Welcome to Uncut with JSmiff. This is the debut episode. Now, since this is the first time that I'm doing one of these, let me tell you what Uncut with JSmiff is all about. So, when you create content, when you make videos, what the people see is most of the time going to be edited. Whether it's because you coughed, the sound of a car in the background, it could be that you made a mistake, or you said something you want to take it back, so you remove it. There's different reasons why you edit a video. So most of the content that you see is edited. Unless you're watching it live, then that's different. And Uncut is about sharing, information with you guys without editing anything. Everything stays in, which means if I make a mistake, if I'm going to be predicting fights on here. So if I predict a fight, and I predicted it, if I got it wrong, I got it wrong. Sometimes that's going to happen. Although don't expect to see too much of that, I promise you. But I digress. The point is that these videos that you see here, you're going to see what I say from the moment I start recording until the moment I finish. No edits. That's why we have Uncut. Pure, baby. Let's get it. So, what is the first episode? What is the first episode of Uncut with JSmiff about? What is the topic of conversation? Well, we're going to be talking about the biggest fight in boxing. That's what makes sense to talk about. Terence "Bud" Crawford versus Canelo Alvarez. It's going down September 13th, and we're months away. However, everybody's talking about this fight, my peoples. People are making predictions. Some feel sure that Canelo's going to knock Crawford out. Others feel certain that Crawford is going to outbox him and even make it look easy. So you can see how the fans are super excited about this fight. The whole narrative that Crawford is too small, Canelo's too strong, too big. This is kind of like the David and Goliath kind of thing going on. Then you have the Mexican fighter versus the African American fighter. So you have a lot of elements on here to make this a huge fight. This is why I consider this one of the biggest fights of this era. And I think when people start chiming in on it, they'll agree with me, as well as the viewership. I'm telling you, my peoples, this fight is going down in Netflix. The viewership is going to be crazy. It's maybe one of the most viewed fights in boxing history, as per Max Kellerman. And I believe it, because Max, he don't just talk to talk. The man knows his boxing. But I digress, my peoples. This episode of Uncut is about making my prediction with regards to Terence "Bud" Crawford and Canelo Alvarez, but also give you a reasoning behind my prediction. Why? Because most people, or not most people, but a lot of people say things like, he's going to beat him because he's too strong. But we all know that fights, the outcome of a fight is not dictated by who's stronger. That's just not the case. Or by who's bigger. That's not, if it was like that, the big guys would always win, and then you could just bet the whole house on the big guy every time, and we all be millionaires. But that's not the case. Now, I will tell you how I see it playing out and why. So here you go, my peoples. First, let me give you the breakdown. Canelo Alvarez, I gotta say, he's a great fighter. He's accomplished a lot in different weight classes, undisputed in multiple divisions, just like Terence Crawford. One of the most accomplished fighters in boxing, the face of boxing. What are some, I'm not gonna say all, But what are some of his strengths? Well, we know that Canelo is a vicious body puncher, very good at closing the gap. The phone is ringing, but I'm not gonna answer it. Fuck it. This is uncut, so y'all get to hear that. Canelo, we know how effective he can be at going to the body. We know that he can, be a pressure fighter. He can stand in there and trade with you. Very good when it comes to, combination punching, his accuracy. Canelo's also underrated when it comes to his defense. He slips a lot of punches. He also turns away to avoid taking the full hit. Does that a lot as well. So Canelo has a lot of tools and resources at his disposal. Very strong as well. So he can fight bigger guys because of that. Obviously has power in both hands. We've seen him knock people out with the left hand, with the right. Goes, consistently to the body when he can, and I'll get to that. But he's a body puncher. We know this. He's the traditional. Most championship level Mexican fighters put a lot of attention on attacking the body. So, and we've seen Canelo be successful with that. And of course, let me not forget, I don't want to skip this, Canelo's notorious punching to the arm, which I can't remember which one of his opponents said that. Bivol said that, the punches to the arm, he felt those. They were, wearing him down. So there you have it, my people. I'm not saying that's all, but Canelo has a lot of tangibles that make him the champion that he is today. Now, what does Terence Crawford bring to the table in this fight? If you think about ring IQ, if you think about footwork, if you think about hand speed, if you think about counter punching, we've seen him drop Errol Spence with a nasty counter uppercut. Bang! So Terence Crawford also has the special it factor of combinations to beat Canelo Alvarez. Now, how does he win that fight? And before I say how he wins that fight, I want to say why I believe so. We have to take a look at the fact that Canelo has lost twice. That's, a piece of information that seems to escape a lot of people when they make their prediction. He's just bigger and stronger, and that's it. He's bigger and stronger, he don't win. But he was bigger and stronger than Floyd Mayweather. He got outboxed. Floyd made him look bad. And then look at Dimitri Bivol. Dimitri Bivol outboxed him with his height and reach advantage. And when I tell people about Dimitri Bivol, they say, oh no, because Dimitri Bivol is a 175 pounder and he's big. But watch the fight. Did Bivol hurt Canelo at any point in time? Did he come across as he's too strong? Did he hit Canelo and stagger him in any way, shape, or form? Did he do anything that stopped Canelo from coming forward and try to make it happen? So come on now. Dimitri Bivol is a guy who has, if I'm not mistaken, 24 fights and 12 knockouts. He's not exactly a power puncher. Canelo's been in there with Triple G and other hard punchers. So there's no the argument that this fight with Canelo and Dimitri Bivol won because of power or because of how big he is. That argument holds no water. Dimitri Bivol beat Canelo Alvarez because he was a better boxer that night. He boxed better. That footwork and that reach, Canelo was not able to get past it. So I'll go to Terence Crawford now, who has a longer reach than Dimitri Bivol. Think about this. Terence Crawford is shorter than Dimitri Bivol, but has a longer reach. And I try to tell people, like, you've seen Terence Crawford fight for so many years. And we all have to know his level of intelligence, his IQ in the ring. If we watch two fighters outbox Canelo, by keeping that long jab in front of his face all night long, by working that distance, by not allowing him to get on the inside and do what he does. If we seen two people do it, do you not think that Crawford is looking at those who wrote the blueprint to beat Canelo? And do you think that he's not going to use his height advantage? Remember, Crawford is going to be able to jab Canelo's face when Canelo's outside of his own punching range, my peoples. Have you seen Terence Crawford's jab? Have you seen that jab? From the orthodox stance? Or from the southpaw? Have you seen it? That's snappy like a whip. So, Canelo is going to have to get inside of Crawford's punching range to do what he does, to operate. And Crawford is going to be able to time him. Crawford's going to be able to counter punch him when he's trying these things. So, I'm telling you right now, Terence Bud Crawford is going to beat Canelo Alvarez by unanimous decision. That's how it's going down. But I'm telling you why I feel that way. You know, the overwhelming majority of boxing fans who say Canelo's going to win are clinging on power. Canelo's too big and too strong. Although, we seen Terence Crawford walking around at 185 pounds. We seen Terence Crawford weighing more than Canelo. When Canelo was going to fight Williams Cole, Terence Crawford was weighing 185 pounds and Canelo Alvarez was weighing 168. Bud was almost outweighing Canelo by almost 20 pounds, my people. And he's a little bit taller and has longer reach. So, I think people are putting too much weight on the size difference. Oh, Canelo, jumping up all these divisions and Canelo's so big, so strong. Canelo has never been known as a big fighter. Ever. He's a small 168 pounder. Every opponent he faced in that division is bigger than him. He just happens to be a very talented fighter. He's a great fighter, one of the greats of this era. That's why he has enough talent to go all the way up to 168 and find success. But he's a small 168 pounder. Don't let that slip your train of thought. You're a small 168 pounder. You're not going to see Terence Crawford challenging other fighters in that division because they mad big. You're not going to see him challenge Benavidez at 175 like some fans are suggesting. That's nasty work. That don't even make no sense. So there's my reasoning right there. I feel like Terence Crawford is going to be able to use his height and reach advantages like Dimitri Bivol. He's going to be able to use the footwork. How does the fight play out? I've said it before. If you watch in the morning, by the way, I don't want to forget to say this, my peoples. I'm not going to wait till the end because then I end the show and I forgot to say it. So I'm going to just say it now. Mondays through Fridays at 6 a.m. Eastern Time. Boxing for Breakfast with JSmiff, where you get your healthy dosage of sweet science early in the morning, my peoples. We be talking about the best fights. We making predictions. We debating. We trash talking. We doing it all. So tune in to Boxing for Breakfast Mondays through Fridays in the morning. Man, I think it's on fire. You don't want to miss it. You don't want to miss it, my peoples. But I digress. Where were we? Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez. Bud is going to whoop him. And I'm trying to tell you, he's going to use the height, the reach. He's going to be able to outbox Canelo. Now, let me keep it 100, my people. I want to make sure we keep that clear. Canelo Alvarez is a great fighter. He's going down as an all-time great. And probably going down as Mexico's greatest fighter ever. So don't think that I'm suggesting that Canelo is not what he say he is. Yes, he is him. There's a reason why he's the face of boxing. Terence Crawford is also a special fighter and has the tools, the resources, the style to beat Canelo. Now, I do not see Crawford just washing him, just baiting him up. No, Canelo's a great fighter. I just said that. I think, number one, I think the first few rounds, I've said it this morning in Boxing for Breakfast, I think that the first few rounds, Crawford is going to win simply because Canelo's going to take some time to find his range. I'm telling you, that long jab of Terence Crawford, pa, 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 is going to be in Canelo's nose, in Canelo's mouth, in Canelo's eyeballs. I'm trying to tell you how it's going down. Thus, Canelo's going to take some time to find his range. Once he does that, though, he is going to start having some success. This fight is going to be back and forth. Crawford lands a big punch. Canelo lands a big punch. The ebb and flow. Oh, the humanity. Because punches are going to rain upon thee. Both of them. It's going to be a very competitive fight. It's going to be one of those epic battles. That's how I see it playing out. But by the time they get to like the 10th round, Crawford has already figured them out. And might even make it look easy. With the combination of that long jab, that footwork, that movement, that counter punching, setting them up, boom, might even make it look easy for the championship rounds. I'm not saying that will happen, but I could picture it happening, honestly. So that's how I formulated my prediction, my peoples. I'm looking at both fighters' skill set. I'm looking at Canelo's previous losses, which took place versus opponents who had height, reach, and footwork on them. Those are the things that I'm looking at. You know, people tell me, no, but Canelo's beat a lot of tall guys. Yeah, I never say he didn't beat no, or being tall doesn't guarantee that you're going to beat Canelo, or having reach doesn't. But the fighters who gave him problems had that reach advantage on them. I'm going to refer you to Erislandis Lara, who gave Canelo problems. Y'all know he did. Till this day, people say Lara beat Canelo. Till right now. Every time we talk about Canelo, the people that beat him, Lara comes up. So, and what tangibles the Erislandis Lara have? The great footwork and the crazy reach and the constant bam, bam, that jab. He gave Canelo problems. So Terence Crawford has already, I promise you, studied the blueprint. We're all familiar with Canelo's footwork, what it is, and he's going to exploit that. Now, the whole idea of no running and Tom and Jerry boxing and all that stuff, that's mumbo jumbo. That's crap. That's for people who don't know shit about boxing. Terence Crawford is going to do whatever he has to do to win the fight, which he said it. They asked him, with the situation that you can't really run, what are you going to do? He was like, I'm going to do whatever I have to do. Nobody's going to tell me how I'm going to win. So Crawford is just going to do whatever it takes to walk out of there with the W, my peoples. There you have it. This is Uncut with JSmiff. That was my prediction when it comes to Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez. You have it right there, man. I'm looking forward. This is a receipt. By the way, my peoples, I didn't rehearse how I'm supposed to finish this show. Like what am I supposed to say to you guys? Subscribe, hit the like button. What else are you supposed to do? Share these videos too. You can do that. Subscribe, like, share, comment, all that stuff. Everything that you're supposed to do to make sure this thing is hot right here. Do it. All that shit. But yeah, my peoples, man, I appreciate you guys tuning in. I'm getting the hell out of here. I'm JSmiff. This is Raw and Uncut. It's not Raw and Uncut. It's only Uncut with JSmiff. I told y'all this is Uncut, so I can't edit that out. I gotta leave it like that. Look at that. Said the name of the show wrong. What kind of show is this where you say the name wrong? But I digress. This is Uncut with JSmiff. I'm out of here, my peoples. Bam.